Are you afraid to love? And again, this is something I once had to confront. Holding off emotions, holding myself back in a sense. Love being one of them. And it really came from a time period where I was overly emotional, super emotional, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't remember exactly what had happened for that switch to happen. It was mainly my own brain, my own mind, my own thoughts that made me become that. It made me become that. I became so closed off. I became so shut off from feelings. Because there was a point in time, even my own brother, he had told me, you're like a robot. In the way you speak, there was no emotion, there was nothing. There was nothing. I don't mean that to exaggerate. I don't mean that to try and, influence my point, I guess you can say. But it just is what it was. It was what it was. It is what it is at that time. And it took a lot of healing, I guess. It took a lot of work on myself to be able to just be open and honest with myself. And even so in relationships, that's a whole nother thing. But let me start with yourself first, because you should be the closest person to yourself. Always the closest person to yourself. You're with yourself 24/7. You wake up with yourself, go to sleep with yourself. You're going in your own casket, sad to say. You're the only one going in your casket, one day at a time. There's nothing wrong with that. We all will pass away eventually. But it's just to say the point that be your best companion. Love yourself. And as often as we hear that, love yourself, it's like, who is the person you are loving? What is that version? What is the idea of them that you are loving? And is that truly the kind of person you want to love? In the aspect of, achievements, growing and prospering, it's like, are you satisfied with the way you're living? And if you are, by all means, you should know that feeling of love and compassion and trust and all that. You'll know it as soon as you start acting, it. It's like everything just seems so great. Everything seems so amazing. In a sense, it's like you can say your energy is just amazing. The kind of energy you give off is amazing. And if not, it's like you can work on it. You can always work on it. There's a plan for you. There's structure you have to put in for yourself. And just act. And you just start making habits, acting upon things. Little by little, you gain confidence and trust within yourself. And past that, it's like you love yourself. You love the person you became. You love the person you are becoming. Just because you wouldn't want it any other way. You wouldn't want to act any other way. You wouldn't want to go back to where you once were. And that was a huge thing for me. For the fact that I was wasting a lot of time doing things that sure were fun in the moment, but in the long run didn't mean much to me. Didn't mean much. It was just for the satisfying moment. It wasn't fulfilling. It was just satisfying. And it stacked up. It just went on and on and on. And time went by and by. Things kept happening. And there was something missing. And it was on me to find that out. That whole, what would make me complete? What would make me whole? What would heal me? And you have to be vulnerable, open to be heard, open to just look at it and say, this is that. and how you feel, however you feel about that. It's like, okay. And then you make the choice based upon what it is. You know, do I want to change it? Do I want to keep it the same? And you just do that. But even so, it's like, if we're talking in relationships, I'm not much of a relationship kind of person. I don't get in relationships often. I've been in one. But it was like one, and then as of recently, it was like I was extremely close with this woman, this girl, amazing person, by the way. We just stopped talking though. We didn't put no title, no labels. We were just taking it one day at a time. And I had realized, like, you have to be open. You have to be open and vulnerable. Again, open and vulnerable with the person. And you may be closed off because of your own past experiences of bad relationships or bad people in your life. And who knows what it is? I don't know. I don't know what it is. You do, though. You know what it was that may have hurt you in a relationship. And it could be scary opening up to a person because you're vulnerable. You could be hurt again. You could be hurt again, and for that reason, some people don't ever want to experience that. Some people don't ever want to open up. But in the same aspect, it's like, sure, you may never feel those feelings. You may never feel the pain and suffering that that person has caused you. Or even that you just felt. We don't even have to talk about the person, just the feelings you felt. But on the opposite side, you'll never be open enough to experience the beautiful feelings, the love, the care, the compassion, the kindness, the joy that you feel when you're in a relationship that the other person can bring you. You won't feel that because you aren't open and vulnerable. Now, I'm not saying just go around and start dating anyone and everyone. No. You have to find the right person, which is obvious, you know. And what is right? I guess, who would you be compatible and comfortable with? And that's for you to decide, you know. Because it's like, there's so many levels to it, you know, and the kinds of things you do, the way you communicate to each other. Not just make it seem all easy and simple, and it's just comfortable. It's comfortable. That's what a beautiful relationship is. There's a sense of comfort that you get just from being around them. It's like, when I'm with this person, everything feels okay. Everything feels okay, and if it's not okay, we'll make it okay. And that's something I realized, you know. It's like bliss. It's bliss. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. And in the fact that it's hard to find now. But it's not something you exactly find too. It's just something that happens. So it's like, if you're searching for love, you're chasing something that isn't just gonna be there. It's not like a set objective. It just happens. You may just bump into someone at a store, just talk to the cashier. You may just go on a walk, go to the gym, just strike up a conversation with a guy or girl, and next thing you know, they could be just someone amazing in your life. And it doesn't even have to be like, you know, on a couple level. It could be just a friendship, you know. Just become extremely close with that person. And just over time, you have to be open to that, open to just experiences. And I'm not saying just be like naive, like you understand what kind of people or what kind of traits and things you want from people. Because it's like, you would want someone who's respectable or respectful, dependable, kind, caring, compassionate. And it's like, they may not have all of it, but it's like, there's just a lot to it, you know. It's not even, oh, they have this, oh, I like them, but it's like, I just like them. I just like them. It's this inexplicable feeling. You can't explain why you love them, but you just do. Because it's like, once you take that, if they lose that, or someone takes it away, It's like, do you no longer love them? Was that even love? And yeah, I guess it's just love in their presence, just caring their presence. And what I realized too is like, a common excuse I hear, it's not even an excuse. I guess a common thing you hear is like, I'm improving on myself, so I don't want to be in a relationship. But it's like, if you find the right person, they'll just elevate everything you are doing. They'll make everything just so much more, because they're adding to your life instead of taking away. And that's what I realized. It's like they'll be helping, in a sense, because even so, in my own personal life, with one of the girls I was talking to, it was like, she knew I loved soccer, because I had told her, I'm like, yeah, I told her, things that go on in my life, and I'm like, I got this, and it's like, apparently she took note of it, and just Valentine's Day came around, she got me a gift. It was like a training bag for soccer. I don't have it with me right now, but with that level of attention and just thoughtfulness really just made everything amazing. It felt just perfect. It wasn't even the gift in itself, but it was the fact she put so much thought into it that it was like, that is truly great. That is love right there. Like, and being honest, she is one of the few people I've told I've loved too. And even though we don't talk no more or whatever, it's all cool. Like, we didn't end anything on bad terms, and I guess that's another thing. It's like, you don't even have to end anything on bad terms. It's just like, you just can drift apart, just stop talking, and it's like, cool. Different page of life, and that's what had happened. We were just going two separate ways, and it's like two separate things, and went on our own paths. I still care for her. It's like, that's still there, but we're on two different paths, and although it didn't work out, that's not gonna stop me just from doing my own thing. And if someone else just appears and just is on the same kind of track as me, it's like, then by all means, cool. And I guess there was this saying I once heard, and it was on TikTok, which is the craziest thing. TikTok is just, social media in itself is so interesting, for the fact that obviously you can meet anyone, and even so, the videos you can see, because it's like, you can get some of the funniest or most brain rotting thing, or the most insightful and impactful thing. You never know. But the video was like, it was an analogy or a metaphor for a relationship. It was, don't go into a store when you're hungry, because you'll grab a lot of the wrong things. In the same way, in a relationship, if you're in a rush to be in a relationship, you'll go for anyone, and they may have a lot of qualities that aren't right with you. And in the sense that it's like, I've seen people just rush into relationships, and it doesn't work just because they were in a rush. They just wanted to be in one for the sake of being in one. And it's like, that wasn't ever me. But it's like, I see it, that the fear of being alone, the fear of not being accepted, the fear of whatever it may be, the fear of just being by themselves can be scary for some people. So they rush into relationships, or they rush just so it's like they have someone to cling on to, in a sense. But that's just one way of looking at it. There's definitely a lot of other things, a different amount of factors. But don't go into a relationship just because you're scared of being alone, because then you're not even looking for the right thing. You're not even looking for the right thing for building something greater than yourself, for building something beautiful, building something beyond yourself. You're just satisfying a fear. You're just acting based upon a fear, and you're not looking at the person for the person they are themselves. You're just looking at them as a means to end a feeling. And that could be a problem. That could be a huge problem, because even so, staying in a relationship when it is no longer right to stay in it, it's like, it doesn't help. It doesn't. And who knows? We all run our relationship different, but above all else, make sure you have some standards, some rules, some principles that you act on, and that your partner can also act on. Say, this is what this is what that is. Because if it's just all chaotic and you do whatever, it's like you're gonna bump heads so many times, and it's like it's unnecessary conflict. When you could say it up front, you don't have to beat around the bush, but just say it up front how it is. I don't like this, I don't like that. And if they don't like it, then cool. Do your own thing by all means. Live your own life. I hope you find someone for you. But if they're okay with that, then by all means, just keep going. Keep going isn't even right. Just keep living. But I mean, even saying keep living is like you're already living. So it's like a double. I don't know. I was gonna go into a whole another train of thought. Let me stop there. But yeah, like, just make sure you're good and you're perfectly fine and satisfied with being in a relationship. Because if you feel like it's a burden or you're not in the proper place to, you still got some things to work on. Work on them if you need to. And be open to it. Just be open and vulnerable when interacting with people. Don't put a mask on, I guess you can say, because you can only put that mask on for so long until it slips, and it's like, then what? They're gonna see a whole different side of you that throws them off, because it's like, that's not who you are. But in reality, it is who you are, but you're too scared to show it. When in reality, you could have just based all your relationships on who you are without that mask. And it's like something like that happens. It's like, well, we already know that's how he always is. That's how she always is. Like, we love her regardless, for whatever it may be. And I guess there's so many things to talk about when it comes to relationships, because you can talk about how to manage a relationship, dealing with conflict. You can talk about, but essentially, the topic right now is just being afraid to love. And you have to be. You can't be afraid of it. It's just a feeling. It just is. It's a feeling. And don't be afraid, because in that same state, in the same sentence, it's like, again, if you close yourself off from feeling the lows, you'll never experience the highs. You'll never experience the highs, the beauty that comes with love. But understand, it's like, not everyone can receive your love. Not everyone can. You give out so much love, but it's like, when you receive it on the other side too. But not everyone can get your love. You can respect people. It's like, but not everyone is just for you. Not everyone is for you. But everyone is different. So just figure out what you want for yourself. The standards you live on is like the standards you'd want for a partner. Of course, just be open to love. And sure, you may get hurt. It's possible. It's fully possible. I'm not rejecting that fact that you could be hurt again. But at the same time, it's like, imagine you get someone who truly cares about you. A deep love. A love for who you are. Not a love for how you look. Not a love for any of that. Not a love for your superficial things. It's just a love for you. A love for, the person separated from all of it. And I'm gonna just leave it off there, honestly. It felt a bit scattered, I'm not gonna lie. It felt super scattered. But this isn't really something I talk about. That's the thing. So, again, it's not really something I always talk about. I usually just say what's on my mind, and this was what was on my mind. That's just how I think, how I feel, how I'm expressing myself. And as always, I'm open to criticism, I'm open to thoughts, opinions, everything like that. But I guess anything, I'm an example of just being open. Because I used to be so closed off. It was weird. I was extremely open. I was extremely emotional. Okay? Meaning, I could not control my emotions to save my life. I would act based upon what other people said. So if they said something to get me angry, I'd get angry. No sort of poise or control. And then I shut myself off, and it's like nothing bothered me. No sort of emotions, no sort of reactions, nothing. Which also led to a feeling of helplessness. But now it's like, I feel the emotions, but it's like I choose if I want to act based upon them. And here we are now. Here we are now. I feel great. I feel amazing. And I don't try and hold off my emotions. I just sit with them. Because it's like, I'm not going to push it away as a feeling. It's there for a reason. And I am dragging this out long enough, Love you forever and always. Dreamers turn dreams into reality. See ya.